All right, so we're back. So in our previous tutorial, we talked about some different ways that we can select graphics or pieces of graphics, and where we left off, we had just used the Select Color Range tool to select automatically everything in this logo that is this blue color. And once we do that, we have a few options, but you may notice that the cursor with the scissors shows up when we hover over the blue. And if you click and drag while you see this, it actually is going to physically take the blue that you've selected and move it wherever your mouse is moving. So we're gonna undo that, but just to show you what that does. But say maybe we want to be a little creative and we want to change the color of this blue area and we want to make it something different. So while we have this selected and while we have that layer that has the logo in it selected, we can go up to where it says Image, and then we can go to Adjustments. And there's a lot of different things that you can do in here, but I want to show you a few in particular. So if we go over to Color Balance, we get this menu with these different sliders. And when you bring this up, you can actually change the color of what you have selected based on dragging these sliders. So you can get pretty creative here with this. So just want to show you that. And if you don't see the live preview going on where it changes as you move it, make sure that you have this preview thing checked off. I'm going to cancel that because I'm going to have it go back to the way it was. Another thing that we can do here is we can go over to Adjustments, and we can also do a brightness and contrast. Now on this it may not show up that much, but actually yeah, there it does. There it is doing it. So we bring that brightness up, it gets really washed out. If we bring the darkness, it gets darker. Now if we had something selected that had more than one color and we changed the contrast, that would up the contrast between the colors or tones in the image there. So let's cancel out of this. Now one other quick thing you can do while you have a selection open is if you make a new layer, you'll see now we have layer 3 selected. I'm going to hide our Hail Ray logo, but you'll see that our selection is still here. We have on the side this, which is the gradient tool. If we click and hold, we can switch it to the paint bucket tool. And we can choose whatever color we want over here on the side. So I'm going to pick bright green. And we can actually fill in that selection with whatever color we want. But it has not affected the original one because we did this all in a different layer. Now I'm going to clear our selection, and again you can do that by either clicking outside if you're in the selection tool, or you can go up to selection and say deselect. I use the keyboard shortcut Control D myself, so that's what I'm going to do. And you'll see that selection disappears. Now one very useful thing in terms of the laser cutter is to be able to make a logo black and white and to make it very high contrast. That is one of the things that you do when you prepare an image for engraving in the laser cutter. So we're going to make sure we have our logo layer selected, and we're going to go up to Image, and we're going to go into Adjustments, and we are going to find the one that says Desaturate. And what that's going to do is that's going to take the color out of our image and make it black and white. And then we can go back in, we can go into Adjustments, and then we can check out brightness and contrast once again. And earlier in this video the contrast didn't really change, but now we don't have anything selected. So this tool is going to apply to the entire layer that we have selected. So if we change our contrast, we can see that the difference between the darker colors and the lighter colors becomes more obvious the farther you slide the slider to the right. Now, if we were to send this image to the laser cutter to cut, or to engrave, we would have a very nice contrast between the background of our logo and the white, which would leave plain wood in our image. So those are some things that you can do to play around with color in an image once you have selected it. And in the next tutorial, we're going to take a look at the last set of tools which allow us to change the size and position and rotation of graphics, which is a very powerful thing to have up your sleeve when you're working in Photoshop.